Welcome, everybody, to All About Articulation, where we do a deeper dive into the articulation of some of your favorite action figures while glossing over things like sculpt, paint apps, character history, accessories. What else is there? Character history? Yeah, that's about it. Because I suck at all that. And there are already so many great reviews on YouTube who do that already. So I don't want to waste your time, right? Who wants to waste their time? Today, we are doing a review of the brand new Marvel Legends 2-pack. Uh, who is it? Iron Fist and or slash Luke Cage. This is celebrating the 85 years of Marvel Entertainment. This is the non-MCU comic book look. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of my initial thoughts and reactions and a little bit of spiel, and then I'm going to jump into the articulation. If you want to go straight to the articulation, there's a timestamp in the description below, so you can skip all my BSing and wasting of time. Okay. So, yeah. How do I feel about these two, huh? I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This is gonna be this week, man. This week has been a week of heartbreak, a week of, I'm gonna say, disappointment. Heartbroken. I should put on some Boys and Men and cry in my bathtub, because these two are just. I had such high expectations. I had such. Maybe too high. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I expected too much, and that's very possible. Okay, so maybe this is right for you, but it's not right for me. But just because I say it's not right for me, you can glean something off of what I say and say to yourself, no. I actually like that. So hopefully, even my criticisms will help you, and this might be two figures that you would love and you should buy if you love it. Okay, but for me, they fell a little short. So, like many of you, I'm a fan, obviously, of these two guys. I saw the promo pictures, the previews, and I was like a lot of times just giddy. I was over the moon. I was like a kid on Christmas, like holy ish. I can't wait. They have an updated Iron Fist on the retro Spider-Man body, specifically the Renew Your Vows body, because it has pinless joints and the toe articulation. And they have an updated Luke Cage with butterfly joints. I mean, this is going to be great, right? At $25 a piece, $50 for the 2-pack, plus tax, maybe a little bit of shipping, depending on where you get it from. This cost me about $55-ish. So $55 for the both of them, right? Yes, it's fantastic. But I am, like I keep saying in some of my other videos, I am at the point now where I got to be very, very selective in what I choose to keep. If I have something already in my collection that fills the hole of a specific character, then I don't really see the need to be redundant in that. This is the Mezco 6-inch 1/12 scale Iron Fist. That's granted not exactly the classic comic book look. It's Mezco-fied, as people like to say, but it hits all the notes for me for an Iron Fist. And likewise, here's Luke Cage, and I had the previous versions of the Marvel Legends Luke Cage on the old Hyperion body. That this is a definite upgrade of, but is it worth keeping? Because just like here, I have the Mezco Soft Goods Iron Fist. This is a V-Toys Zero body with a Netflix Luke Cage head that I popped on it, and I'm gonna buy him like a yellow T-shirt, some jeans on eBay, just 2 pieces. He already comes with boots. So I think this is gonna fill my need for a Luke Cage on my shelf. And if you look at the two of them, now granted, this guy's much bigger. He's a little bit on the thinner side. But if you look at the two of them, head to head or eye to eye, he's not that much taller. It's very, very comparable in height anyway, in scale. So when you put clothes on him, he's just gonna bulk up and he's gonna get a lot thicker, a lot beefier, just from eyeballing him. So I think that'll be enough for me. Just give you a quick idea of what clothes can do. Clothes is like camera, right? It adds 15 pounds, they say. So you see that? These two guys are similar in height as well, almost identical in height. But you see how the Mezco looks chunkier, beefier? It's because of the soft goods. Soft goods always make a character, make a figure look thicker. Okay, so anyway, back to these two. So yeah, so I already have, or I'm working on 2 figures of the same scale, 1/12 6-inch scale, that will scratch my itch for Luke Cage and Iron Fist, right? But these figures, in and of themselves, did I want to keep them? And it's just, they were so close. I reviewed the Astonishing X-Men Wolverine, and right out of the box, I felt them, I played with them, I said, no, there's no way I'm keeping this. These two guys, I debated, I molded over, and it were so close. It was like the needle was right in the middle. It's like, and ultimately the needle just shifted a little bit towards return. Or if I can't return it, then I'm going to sell it. But I just can't keep it. At 25, no, actually, after, tax, these Marvel Legends now, they're about $27, $28 a piece. At $20 a piece, they just didn't give me that, you pick them up. In pictures, they look fantastic, but in hand, playing around with them, posing them, having fun with them, did I feel like they justified me, just me personally? Did they feel like justified me keeping them? And it's just, nah, I don't think I can. And I'm going to tell you why. So first of all, let's get to Iron Fist, okay? He is on the new, well, not the new anymore, but he is on the upgraded body that is based on the the retro Spider-Man body mold. And specifically, Renew Your Vows, because he does have pinless joints and toe articulation. However, one huge important thing he does not have that's driving me bananas. Had he had this, I think it would have tipped the scale over to me wanting to keep him. He doesn't have that neck cutout. Is that neck cutout right there? That allows the peg to go in and allows the head to look up. He doesn't have that. Just like Astonishing X-Men. For some reason, Hasbro is just refusing. I don't know if they refused it, but they're just not including that cutout. You see that? It's just a solid piece all the way around. So, of course, for those of you that know, what that does is that it does not allow upward head tilt. There's no ability to look up. That's as far up as he can look up. I, as well as many other people who saw the pictures of this, thought, uh-oh, is that collar going to get in the way of his upward head articulation? Well, we don't even need to get to that point because he can't. Even without that collar, he can't look up because he doesn't have that cutout, that hole for the neck peg to move back into. So you have this martial arts character who's supposed to be very, very flexible and good at fighting, and he's supposed to be able to hit all these different positions, and he can't look up. Oh, that's so frustrating. Cannot look up. He could look down a decent amount, I guess, but that just is for an articulation, and a self-admitted articulation fanatic like me. And I know I'm a little too anal retentive about articulation, but hey, I totally gloss over paint and sculpt. And I'm like, I know there's some collectors out there who's like, there's a little bit of smudge there, a little bit of paint smudge there. They want to return it. They're, no, I can't keep it. I'm not as bad on that, but I do admit when it comes to articulation, I cannot let things go. So I guess I'm just as bad as those guys. But he can't look up. Everything else, I mean, even his headband can articulate. the straps can rotate. I shouldn't say articulate. It's not bendy, but it could rotate, which is great. Everything else from an articulation standpoint is identical to Renew Your Vows Retro Spider-Man. You know, so I'm not going to get too into the articulation for this guy because I've reviewed this body so many times. So I'll just link to a video up here. If you want to know how this figure articulates specifically, just click to that video right there. Okay. Luke Cage, Lukey, come on down, Luke. So he's definitely a step up from, and also, did I want to keep him? Because if one of these guys I wanted to keep, I would have just said, you know what, I'll keep both. But even him, I thought to myself, do I want to keep this guy? Does he justify the price? Does he justify the diminishing real estate on my shelf? And no, he also does not have any, what does it call it? Upper neck slot, would you call it? Cutout that allows for the peg to move back. So although he can look a little bit further up than Iron Fist, it's not by much. I mean, that's it. That's it. I mean, you could cheat and push it far back, but the head is almost falling off the peg at this point. So I don't really know if I like that, because if I kept it on flush, that's as far up as he can look. That's it. That's it. And that's as far down as he can look. So that annoys me. Once again, no neck cutout. Why don't they just do what Mafex does, is just have a bent neck peg? Because for those of you who are familiar with Mafex, they do the exact same thing, but this peg here is at an angle. It's not just straight, it's bent. It's bent like that. So you could push it back as far, it'll hit the back of the neck, but then the ball joint would be here instead of here. It would be here. That's where the ball peg would be, which then allows the head to look up. Has Mafex patented that or something? Is that some sort of intellectual property that Mafex was able to patent? I don't think so. How can you patent a bent piece of plastic? But somebody check me on that. Maybe they have. I don't know. That's just one thing that I feel that Hasbro, they just refuse to add that neck cutout on so many of their new figures. They would benefit so much from a bent neck peg, stem, a bent stem. Anyway, so he does have butterfly joints, which is great. I do wish that the cutout over here was just a little bit more, because he just can't get too far in, And Hasbro just has a pattern of doing that. They add butterfly joints to these larger characters, but they only give you range of motion in the back, but not in the front. Like infamously, like they do for all their Hulk figures. And I'll grab Hulk real quick. Like here's Maestro, who's gigantic. I know you can't even see the top of his head, but this is the body that they use on so many of their Hulk figures. And they have great butterfly joint that goes all the way back. I mean, look at him, right? But then this is up as far forward as he can articulate his butterfly joints forward. It just hits that part there. If you just cut that further in, I'm asking for less plastic. I'm not asking for more. I'm not asking for less plastic. Cut that part out so then he can bring his shoulders forward. It's not too different from Luke Cage here. Give us more of a cut over here. Give us more of a cut over there. And then he could push his shoulders forward. Because as of now, utilizing that butterfly joint, he can't even get his arms close, let alone touch his fingers. It's not even close. And another thing is he lacks any sort of ball joint either in the upper or lower diaphragm. So it's just crunch, hinge, which it gets very deep. No problem there. I'm not complaining about that. No complaints there. But he has that waist swivel, which, you know, I bring out Cable for that reason because okay, Cable is the articulation system for Cable's abs is the same as Luke Cage's. You got the hinge and the swivel, right? But Cable's more of a gun guy, you know. He uses lots of artillery, guns. He pretty much will stand kind of stationary, pointing guns. So I don't really need him having that much dynamic range in his torso. But for someone like Luke Cage, he's a ground level, street level, hand to hand combat guy. He's a fighter, right? You want him to kind of get into poses where he looks like he's about to F some S up, if you catch my drift. And what he lacks is what I call that central axis of articulation. Just a little bit, I'm going to go into the weeds here of articulation, and this is just my opinion, but articulation for a figure all starts in the center. It all starts in the center. And what I mean by that is, I'll use Retro Spidey. You could give me all the points of articulation in the arms and the legs, all you want, in the feet, in the ankles, in the wrists. But if he can't articulate well in his abdomen, then all the extra articulation in his limbs are just extraneous and it's unnecessary. So because you got Spider-Man here, Retro Spidey, he could do that, he could do this, he could flex and twist and turn and tilt. He looks more human. He looks like he's fighting in realistic motions. Likewise with the V-Toys body. Now before you say, well, this is an import, this is $30. This is a $30 figure. So, you know, this is now 25, MSRP 25. This is 30. It's a difference of $5. And it's just a ball joint. That's all. So you see, this my potential custom Luke Cage. His movements look more natural. His movements look more fluid. He looks more like a human being moving as opposed to a stiff mannequin whose his central axis is locked in. It can't tilt, it can't move, it can't do anything other than just bend forward or rotate, swivel at the waist. So he's very limited to what he can do and how he can pose. Having said that, if you don't have a Luke Cage, you're in the market looking for a 112 scale 6-inch Luke Cage. He's great. Again, I'm not knocking anybody who buys this 2-pack. If you're in the market for some great 6-inch scale figures and you need a Luke Cage and you need an Iron Fist, knock yourself out. This is great. And also, I mean, that's why it breaks my heart because like these figures are not bad. Oh, they're not bad. I really want to keep them. I want to keep them so bad, and they scale so well too. And that's why I brought Cable out, because Cable, he's 6'8", right? Luke Cage is about 6'6". Look at that. Bang. Bang. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly. I love scale. Is the close cousin to articulation. If articulation is 1A, scale is 1B. You gotta scale well. Nothing bugs me more than when figures don't scale right. And this scales perfectly. That's perfect. I want to keep them so bad. Why don't you have neck articulation? Because I can even live with this, you know, the locked in lack of central mobility. But the head, if you just gave me just that cutout in the neck, so he could bend over and do that. Give me like one of these poses. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, you know what? I'll keep him. I'll keep him. I'm a sucker for action figures. I'll keep him. But he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He can't do it. Whereas Cable, he has the disc hinge, so he can look up. He can do that, so he can bend over and do that. That's what Luke Cage can't do. Luke Cage can't hit this pose like this. He can't do it. That's just annoying. He can't do it. See that? He can look up. Look at his eye line. His eye line is this way. Look at his eye line. His eye line's down here. His eye line's forward. Cable's eye line's forward. Luke Cage's eye line is downward. I know you guys are yelling. I can hear you guys screaming at me through your screens. You idiot! Oh my God, you're so nitpicky. I am. I admit it. I'm nitpicky. I started a whole stupid YouTube channel celebrating my nitpickiness. Okay, why are you here watching this if I annoy you? I annoy myself. Same thing with Iron Fist. He can't do it. He can't. He doesn't have that neck cut out. He can't do it. These guys are so close. They're so close. I want to keep them so bad, but I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't. Won't. They're too expensive. Toys are too expensive these days. If I'm not 100% happy, I'm not keeping it. Not doing it. Not doing it. Okay, so if you want a detailed look at his articulation, like I said, link is to a video of another figure on this body mold right here. For Luke Cage, Lukey, here we go. This is how far up he can look. This is how far down he can look. Here's his T-pose. Not bad. Really good, right? As I like to call it, his hot tub pose. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? He's got the butterfly joint, goes really far back. That's great. Not far forward at all. That's it. But though, if you flex his wrists, you might be able to get him to touch his fingertips. He's got the bicep swivel that goes all the way around. The shoulder goes all the way around. Bicep goes all the way around. We know that. Double jointed elbows that actually get great range. I will say that. He's got 2 points of articulation. The lower elbow can get that much. Upper elbow can get that much. Utilize it together. He could scratch his own shoulder. Hey, look at that, you know? Again, not a bad figure. Not a bad figure. I want to keep him. I want to keep him. But I can't. I can't do it. Wrist articulation goes all the way around. Good articulation, flexion, and I keep forgetting what's this called. Flexion and extension. Flexion, extension. There we go. Flexion and extension on his other hand as well. And just like great sculpt too. I know I don't really talk about sculpt. It's just a fantastic head sculpt. Fantastic brass knuckles. He can bend forward this much with the hinge, extend his back that far. He's got the waist swivel that goes all the way around. We know that. No drop down, no drop downs, no drop down hips, unfortunately. So this is as far down he can go. He can hit his Glen Webb. Almost. His ankles are a little bit compromised because of the sculpt of the jeans, but he can still do it. He can get that far down. Not bad. Thigh swivel goes all the way around. We know how that works. Double jointed knees can get that close to his butt. Okay, he's a bruising character. He's a big, strong dude. You know, he doesn't need. I don't need him to have. He's not Iron Fist, and he has good. Oh, he has a boot cut too. The boot cut is hidden inside the jeans, and he has great ankle articulation. He can't point his toes down that far because of the back of the jeans, but he could bring his toes up about that far. which is pretty good. And that's about it. All right, 25 minutes. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let me get his arm down. So unfortunately, I want to keep these guys, but I can't. They're I'm going to try to sell them, okay? But hey, if you need some 6-inch 1/12 scale, fairly well articulated Iron Fist and Luke Cage in their classic, more or less classic, well, he's definitely classic, he's more of a modern classic, costumes and uniforms, these are great. These are great figures to get. But if you're, if you're looking for a high level of articulation and you already have sort of Iron Fists and Luke Cages in your collection, you need another one. Does this up the game? Does this represent the next step of evolution in articulation for these two characters? I would say no. I would say no. Not really. You know, you could get better articulation with other figures out there, like this guy, like my custom. Because right now you could get this guy right now. You can get the V-Toys body in the Black or African American version for $30, and this head is actually part of a 2-pack, and you can get on Amazon with not Claire Danes, what's her name? Rosario Dawson and was it Michael Coulter? I believe that's the actor's name. The 2-pack for $20 on Amazon as of what's today, July 17th. So yeah, so this is a very affordable, very cheap, quick and easy custom that I think anybody can do if you want a good sort of alternative, but way more articulated than this one here. But hey, if you want these guys, go out and grab them. They're available everywhere. Okay, that ends my spiel. Thanks, everybody.